They'll probably say, where exactly are you going with this? I see you really trying to take it there. Old school flow, chew you out, ain't fair. Jordan pants don't...
Yeah, what up YouTube? It's your boy Zod at you real quick. But anyways, man, basically this is going to be one of those videos where once again I have to go in on, you know, certain individuals and not those I usually go in on, because like I said, I refrain from saying a lot of names because they don't really do nothing for me in the first place. And what I'm about to tell a lot of people on this particular video is that you do in fact contribute to their growth by speaking on these certain individuals. But I understand people are more hooked on views and the fact that if you talk about certain people, the views will rack up because everybody's waiting to hear the juicy gossip. But in fact, you unintentionally do more harm to your channel than good. Because understand, when my channel first started, the growth was there. It was like people had never seen nothing like it. For the people that's out of state, or you know what I mean, because people in LA, a lot of them had already seen, you know, individuals such as myself. There are older black homies, but it's just a simple fact to see one on YouTube, and then the way I sound, it's like people tend to, you know, want to place me in a certain category as far as like it's an act, but this is in fact how I talk, you know what I mean? And it's just, I mean, when you meet me in person, it's the same exact tone, you know what I mean? But that's besides the point. Basically, this whole video is just to, you know, set a few things straight, because I see a lot of simping on YouTube right now, and a lot of it is coming from the so-called prison community. Understand, I say so-called with quotation because I never considered myself a prison channel. I just considered it my channel. I was talking about myself at first, why I joined the bottom, then I went in to the fact that I have been in prison for a long time. And I didn't get into details what I had to do, but I just basically told you, you know, as far as like my life and what made me get into these type of situations and what made me join the gang. And that's all I really wanted to do when I first started my channel, to basically tell my story. Didn't expect for it to go nowhere. Didn't expect my channel to catch flame and just kick up the way it did, but it did. And a lot of people were surprised at that fact. But regardless of what people want to say, even though my content was controversial and a lot of it was directed at certain individuals, after a while I did reel it back, and I set my own pace. Like I chose my own content, could pretty much put anything up, and it was widely received, you know what I mean? But one thing I feel like I never had to do is, you know, talk about another person's channel unless they directly attack me. Now, the reason I say this is because everybody knows that there's a particular guy on YouTube, you know what I mean? I'm not going to say his name because I don't need to. There's a particular guy on YouTube that his followers surpass a lot of prison channels. I mean, unless you're Big Herc, but other than that, oh, and then there's a few other that are real big, but it passed a lot of channels, and people are upset at that fact that this particular individual, being who he was or who he is, should never have had that many subscribers, and constantly throwing out little, not even little, they're just outright calling people out because they chose to watch a certain channel. Understand this. For the people that understand why this particular channel or these channels are getting so big, because people like to root for the underdog. So the more you attack these particular channels, the more people get at them. Now, there's a way to say things about channels without actually having to put their name out, but then that's the more subtle approach. For the people that really don't understand subtle, instead of just being outright and call out the name, you say things or reference things that either make people think you're talking about certain individuals, or you're just, you know what I mean, it's just certain things that can be keyed in on. And that's the way you do it. Like when I made the video on Wes Watson, I could have went the route of every other you know, prison channel and just to attack them, but at the end of the day, I kept it true to myself. Instead of going out and just being one of the followers, I chose to keep it real. We don't address Woods. Woods address themselves. Whites address whites. Me being a homie, you know, I'm not gonna address some white dude because it's not within my, you know what I mean? There's reason that there's level to the shit. And I understand some of these cats that you know choose to do, they're probably either the same race as them, so feel like they can do that, or they just they no longer feel like they no longer feel like they need to really adhere to certain rules. Some guys, I mean, they live in far out places, so they really don't have to conduct themselves a certain way because there's really no ramification. Because if a PC could walk around in Los Angeles and hasn't got touched yet, why is another person or all these other channels that are talking about this individual worried about anybody doing nothing to them? They're not, because until one gets smashed, the other ones, it's just like that. My whole thing with making this video is just to tell people, like, I get it, man. I get it. When I first found out my channel got surpassed, I just had to eat it up. It's just what it is, and I was hot, but I had to eat it up. That's a part of it. Because somebody's winning don't mean you have to hate them regardless of the individual. It's like being in prison. If 1 minute we got we getting the dope in and we're able to move things, next sometime it's another race, you know what I mean, that got everything, and it's like, people ain't supposed to do certain things, but they still do it because they need what they need, you know what I mean? But for the most part, you don't hate on another individual. That's more for the PCs to go and snitch on an individual because they're actually doing it. And look, I try not to put any particular individual out, because there's a lot of people that, I mean, to be honest, it's like they have most of their content revolves around this particular set individual that everybody seems to be infatuated with. Understand, at first, you know what I mean, like when I started going at it with certain individuals on YouTube, it was just one of those things. It was funny, an individual got hot that he felt like I outed him, but I just brushed him to the side once I found out who he was. I'm not actively going out looking for this guy, so why would I even put him out there? Just unless a homie's gonna deal with him, I'm like, no, hey, this dude ain't no good. Plain and simple. That's all I do. As time went on, I got into it with a particular individual, so it became more than that. But some of these channels, I'm starting to find out that they actually dealt with this individual and were actually cool with this individual until they got I won't say slighted, or a certain individual blew up and didn't want to deal with them, so then they got hot and felt like they, what I mean? It's like this one dude channel in New York. This dude constantly talks about who won't collab with who, but it's funny because this dude was never a convict, he was never a criminal, he never got involved in none of that. He was just mad that he felt that somebody should have showed him love in the prison community when he wasn't part of the prison community itself. Let me tell you, man, there's a right way and there's a wrong way to do it. I can't tell no channel not to talk about these PCs. That's cool, but you don't have to say their name. But like I said, that is your choice. If that's the way you're gonna grow your supporters, do it. But at the end of the day, understand this: the more you go at a particular individual, the greater his numbers grow. That's just the way it is. America has always rooted for the underdog, and when you're dealing with one man against everybody, that's considered an underdog. So the more you shine light on this particular individual, the more his name has become infamous. And the reason why it becomes infamous is because he's still walking around breathing. And the cats that are talking mess about him in other states are not doing nothing to him. They're not coming to California to do nothing to him. And that's the key point. And anytime you talk mess about an individual, but you're not willing to come from where you're at to pull up to get it, you end up looking stupid. So it's just one of those things. For the people that have been incarcerated, you already know. If you're not going to do nothing, don't say nothing. But other individuals, to each is their own. If you see me talk about a PC, it's because he's angered me, and I actually want to get him. Plain and simple fact. I need mine. But I'm not going to talk about an individual and that I'm not willing to come out and get it with. You got channels talking about this individual, you know what I mean? And it's crazy. Like, there's one guy I watch, and, he's a family man. He has his business. I can understand exactly why he makes videos on this PC. Because that dude said something about his family and tried to say as if this dude wasn't handling his business. But then this dude is self-employed, owns his own business, out there getting it. So that's why I watch his channel. But some of these channels that just be ranting, I have nothing to say I have nothing to do with them. And a lot of people like, oh, your prison channel, you're at almost 25,000. You should collab with this channel. I don't collab with certain channels because we don't share the same ideals. I watch the prison channel in Texas. I watch Nate Dogg. I watch Dog Pound. I watch the one guy that paints. I think his name starts with an H. I watch his channel because he still keeps it convict. There's certain things that we just, there's certain things we don't speak about. And as far as glorifying prison, I've never glorified it. I just kept it real. We didn't get along with certain cats. We buzz grace when we need to. I kept it real. When every time we had a war, that mean we won them all, but we still had these wars. That's just a part of my get down. So, that's all I'm gonna say, man. For the people that continuously attack these PCs and say their name outright, understand you're doing more detriment to your channel than anything, because people start, you're gonna have your crowd, always have it. You're gonna have your crowd that's gonna back you and be like, yeah, that's right, homie, yeah, fuck that best that thought. They do it on mine, but after a while your numbers start trickling. And don't get me wrong, by me not collabing with a lot of these cats, my channel might suffer, but I'll take that slow trickle. When I do say certain things that are more controversial, people tend to jump on board. But understand, that dies after a while. People get tired of hearing the same thing. So, I could collab with cats. I could collab with a lot of different people that ask me. I just don't, because I just don't see eye to eye with them. Their ideals are a lot different than mine, so I choose not to even entertain them. Now, some people might take the easy way because they want views, they want numbers. That's just not me, dog. Like, at the end of the day, I'm still somebody in my neighborhood. A lot of these fools, they ain't nobody in their neighborhood, so it's like, whatever, you trying to get by. But that's besides the point. To the positive cats, or the ones that just, interact with certain individuals because they feel like they can, you know what I mean? It's all good. But understand, I don't need to call out anybody's name or, slander channel. If you're a PC, I don't consider it slander, but I still don't need to mention your name to give you any type of clout, because just addressing you makes me look bad, especially if I outright say your name. But, other people might see it different, and to each his own. But for the channels that have nothing to do with prison, you've never been busted. Some of you don't have no family that you're in direct contact. And you can have family there in jail, but you're not interacting with the business. Why even go out of your way? Like, unless he's him or somebody else, one of these pieces that directly disrespected you as an individual. I had somebody say, oh, well, it's because, they were cool. And okay, so he was a PC and they were cool. People need to go back on their videos and realize what they say. You were cool with a PC, but then something happened, so now you're no longer good with that person. You were cool with a PC. If you're a gangster, you can never be cool with a PC. But you were cool with the PC because you felt like you weren't in prison no more, so you had to adhere to certain rules, which is kind of crazy, because now I see a lot of them cats going at certain individuals. Like, hold on, if you're cool with a PC, how does that change? And why would you ever want to be cool with a PC, especially a 2.5er? Knowing that that's enemies. But I'm not here to be a moral compass for nobody. I'm just saying, understand this, man. If you call them guys out by their name, you're just giving them more clout. Now, you got other channels that are satire. Like I said, the guy that, this particular PC tried to come at his family, and he had to prove the fact that I don't need this YouTube. I respect guys like that. But the ones that are, whining, trying to get this dude's subscribers, and oh, you shouldn't follow this guy. I mean, it happens. You know what I mean? It happens. And you just got to take it for what it is. Anyways, man, on that note, your boy Zod. And I'm out.
Kneel before Zod!